shoulder pads. Serious business. Hey there, and welcome back to our neck of the woods. I'm Katie, and I know it's been quite a while, maybe like a year or so since I've made a video. However, given our current circumstances with isolation, I have a little bit of extra time on my hands to create some content, and I wanted to jump on the wheelchair tag created by Jem of Wheels No Heels. Now, Jem has been a huge role model for me ever since I found her channel a few years ago and saw another mom with a spinal cord injury thriving and creating these awesome videos, and just I've learned so much from the information she shared that when she started this wheelchair tag, I decided to make my own video kind of in response to it. I don't really know a whole lot of other wheelchair YouTubers, so I don't think I'll tag anyone else, but hopefully this will be a good video for other people to reference in the future whenever they stumble upon my channel. So I figured the best way to show you how I use my wheelchair, my electric wheelchair every day, is to take you guys on a little roll. So let's go. There we go. Now I'm ready. So the first question is, why do you use a wheelchair? I'm actually a really new wheelchair user, like new as in like 6 months of a wheelchair user. So I use a wheelchair because when I was 18, I herniated a disc in my back, had surgery, I had a complication, and got spinal meningitis. I injured my spinal cord, and apparently in the original injury, and as a result from all of that, I now have multiple balance disorders, migraine disorders. I have some weakness in my left leg, and I'm a fall risk. I'm just like a big giant fall risk. So I had been using a walking stick or a cane off and on really since my injury 15 years ago. And about a year ago, I was at the zoo with my family and we rented an electric scooter, and I just noticed instantly how much more I could enjoy and how much less pain I was in. So that prompted a conversation with my doctor, and we just kind of went from there. The second question was, are you a full-time or a part-time user? And I don't use it all day, every day. I am a part-time user. I do use it just about every day. I use it, I was just, starting to take it out on my own and feel really comfortable and confident in that right before isolation and kind of lockdown began. However, nowadays I use it to go on daily walks with my kids and just kind of get some fresh air, and it gives me a lot more mobility, and it gives me just many more options to be able to enjoy life. Even being stuck at home, I still use it every day, so I'm really thankful for it. The next question is, what is the make and model of your chair? And my chair is a M-45 by eWheels. I got it from spinlife.com. I did go through the whole process of meeting with a physical therapist and an ATP and actually getting a chair custom built for me. However, insurance would not approve it. So I ended up having to just buy a stock electric wheelchair, and I'm really, really happy with what we ended up deciding on, and I really love this chair. It's super lightweight, it travels really, really well. It folds up, and it's super accessible for me and for my husband to use. Being able to find something that I was still able to get because I really needed a chair, that was a huge blessing. So the next two questions are, do you just have one chair, and is it electric or manual? And I do just have the one chair for now, and as I said before, it is electric. So the next question is, what cushion do you use and why? And I just use the standard stock cushion that came with my chair, and it's honestly the most comfortable chair I've ever sat in, so I'm really pleased with it. So the next question is, what is your dream wheelchair? And honestly, I kind of already have it. I wasn't really sure what I was looking for when I started out on this process of picking and getting a wheelchair. But like I said, this chair is super lightweight. It is going to allow me to travel. It is also all-terrain. So as you can see, we live kind of off the beaten path a little bit. So being able to go out and go on adventures with my kids. And then also in the city, it's really useful. We live really close to Charleston, South Carolina, and so I'm down there quite frequently. Well, whenever we're not in isolation, I'm down there quite frequently, so it handles those streets with ease. I do like to travel though, and that is one thing that getting a chair I was hoping would make easier for me. Unfortunately, I didn't get the chance to really travel a whole lot before lockdown began, between getting my chair at the end of last year, 2019, and this starting in March. So hopefully in the future, I'll be able to take lots of trips all over the place in my chair. The next question is, what is the most useful skill or trick you have learned? And for me, that would be getting out of the sand when I get stuck in the sand. Fortunately, I'm still able to kind of like use my right leg to push myself out, or Joseph helps me, or I just get out of the chair and kind of wheel it on out. So I've also kind of figured out that if I tilt my weight back a little bit, that can kind of help me pop a wheelie in my electric wheelchair. So I don't know if I'll be able to get that on video, but it does happen. You can ask my husband. I'm sure I've scared him so many times doing it. Next question is, what skill or trick do you wish you have learned but haven't? And I don't really know of that many tricks that electric wheelchair users can do. You know, if I'm mistaken, please let me know. I would love to learn tricks, but I need to do some research because I'm not really sure. My dream accessory for my wheelchair right now is a cane holder attachment, which I know exists, and so I need to do a little bit of research and see what's out there. Maybe, I know there's ones for like walkers and things, so maybe one of those would fit, but if anybody out there has one, let me know, because I would like to have that but still have my hand free to actually use my chair instead of holding my cane, especially when I'm out shopping and want to get up to get a closer look at something. Having a place that I can stick my cane so I can get it easily whenever I need to get up and move around, that would be really nice. So real quick, I did want to show you, I've made a few adaptations to my chair just for aesthetics. So you can see kind of right there, I went over it with silver paint pen, so there's no big black logo there anymore. And then also back here, there was a huge logo. So I got a little crafty and made a little panel to cover that. The next question is, what is the best thing about being in a wheelchair? And for me, the best thing about being in a wheelchair is the freedom that I get from being in a wheelchair. Before, there was so much that I hesitated to do or wasn't able to do. I felt like my energy had to be conserved and like really like scheduled and divvied out and rationed. So this allows me to go a lot longer and really be in the moment and be present because I'm not in pain. And yeah, for me, that's been the best thing, is I feel like I'm getting my life back. I don't feel like I've lost anything as a result of becoming a wheelchair user. The worst thing about being a wheelchair user is probably the stigma that comes along with it. Again, I'm so new to this, but whenever I would tell some of my friends and family, like, hey, I'm getting a power chair, they'd say, oh, I'm really sorry, I'll pray for you. And while the concern is nice, you know, of course, I didn't view it as a negative thing, and so I have kind of made it my mission, which already as a disabled woman was kind of my mission, but especially now being a wheelchair user, is to change the perception around what it means to be a wheelchair user. It's not necessarily a bad thing, you know. Yes, sometimes terrible and tragic things happen, and that means we have to end up becoming a wheelchair user, unfortunately. But to me, wheelchairs, again, mean mobility, they mean freedom. They're a tool. They're a tool that allow us to live our best lives, and to me that is a very positive thing. So working against the idea that being in a wheelchair is a bad thing, or that you're somehow less than, there's a lot of discrimination that happens. That's got to be the worst thing. The weirdest thing that's ever been said to me as a wheelchair user, even though I've only been in a wheelchair for a short amount of time, I've already had some pretty odd interactions. So Joseph and I actually went to a concert a couple months ago and was waiting in line for the bathroom because there's always a line at the ladies' room. And I'm just sitting there in my chair minding my business, not talking to anybody, and this complete stranger walks up to me and just says, "I'm a nurse. Do you need my help to go to the bathroom?" And it was just, it's so off-putting on so many different levels. Like, you know, I have a little bit of like decency is to not, you know, ask that in front of like 10 other people also waiting in line, first of all. One thing that I want people to know is people with disabilities or people that use mobility aids, you know, there's a lot of planning that goes behind it. If we know that about ourselves, we're already planning for that. We're already accommodating. Like, we're not just, you know, if we need help, we've planned for it, and or we'll ask for it. But especially something like that was extremely off-putting to me. I'm hoping she was, you know, just being really nice, and she seemed like maybe she had a little bit to drink. So I just politely said, no, thank you, and let her go on. But afterwards, it was kind of like, wow, okay, you know, the fact that I was out in public and a random stranger, you know, I'm supposed to trust that they're a nurse and offer to help me, you know, that could really hurt me or hurt them, and just be really dangerous for everyone for a lot of different reasons. So yeah, mind your business in the bathroom line, please. My best advice for someone that is becoming a wheelchair user or is a new wheelchair user is to just be patient with yourself, trying to have a sense of humor about things, not being so hard on yourself. And I know it's frustrating and there's a lot of changes happening. Keep it up, you're doing great. Thank you so much for tuning in to learn more about my wheelchair and the wheelchair tag. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time.